Welcome to the deep dive. As this year draws to a close, it really feels like the perfect moment to look ahead. Today, we're doing a deep dive into, well, a really fascinating stack of sources. They're all focused on making 2025 your year of significant personal growth, transformation even, our mission. Pretty simple, really, to dig out the most impactful insights, those practical strategies that can help you, our listener, actually achieve your goals. And this isn't about, those New Year's resolutions that kind of vanish by February. Not at all. This is about finding a solid roadmap for sustained success. So today, we'll explore the why behind setting goals, look at the common pitfalls, the things that trip so many of us up, and most importantly, get you equipped with some proven frameworks, some tools to overcome those challenges. It's going to be a great conversation, I think. Let's jump right in. Okay, so let's start right at the beginning. Why even bother with goals? I mean, we all have things we want, but what makes setting a formal goal so, well, crucial?
That's a great question. And what's really striking in these sources, it isn't just that goals give you direction, but how the actual act of defining them starts to sort of rewire your thinking. There's this one analogy in the material that describes it beautifully. Setting goals is like driving with a destination in mind. Makes sense, right? Without them, you're just wandering. So it highlights that goals give purpose across your life, career, health, relationships, personal growth. They're not just a wish list, they're like a compass. They keep you focused, help you use your energy wisely, and this is key that they give you these little confidence boosts with every step, even the small ones.
That's a really good distinction. Not just direction, but like building a new pathway in your brain. And it's not just a nice idea, is it? The sources actually get into the science behind it. They point out studies showing pretty consistently that people with clearly defined goals, they have much higher success rates. And the reason seems to be that clarity of purpose. It just supercharges motivation, makes it harder to get sidetracked. Okay, right. So we get why goals matter. But let's be real for a second. Despite all the good intentions, so many of us, myself included, sometimes really struggle to stick with them. It feels like we start strong, then life happens, or our own habits just kind of get in the way. So what are these common hurdles the sources talk about?
Oh, it's so true. Good intentions often, well, they fall by the wayside. The sources break down several common challenges pretty systematically, and just knowing them is the first step, right? First up, the classic, I'll start tomorrow. Procrastination. We all know that one. I think, yeah, we've all been there. My personal record for starting tomorrow on something probably lasted almost a month once. Then, a really big one is lack of clarity. Think about those vague goals like just get fit or save money. There's no real actionable plan there. You can't hit a target you can't properly see, can you? Another pitfall is unrealistic expectations, aiming way too high too fast. That just leads to discouragement, inevitably. And the sources also mention it's not just fear of failure, but sometimes it's perfection paralysis, that fear of imperfect progress stopping you before you even start.
Yeah. Planning forever, never doing.
Exactly. Then there's lack of accountability. It's just, well, easier to quit when nobody's watching, isn't it? And of course, distractions. Life gets in the way. Social media, work stress, you name it. But the good news, and the sources really emphasize this, is that all these challenges, they can be overcome. You just need the right mindset, the right tools.
That's good to hear, that they're not, insurmountable. Okay, so if those are the pitfalls, what specific tried and true tools do these sources recommend? How do we avoid them and actually build successful habits?
Well, the sources overwhelmingly point to one really effective framework, like a blueprint almost. It's the SMART method. It's pretty foundational, helps turn those fuzzy ideas into actual actionable plans. Each letter stands for something critical. So S is for specific. Instead of saying, I want to be healthy, the source suggests aiming for something precise, like I want to lose 5 kilograms by March through diet and exercise. See how concrete that is?
Right, much clearer.
M is measurable. You need a way to track your progress, like read one book a month. That gives you a clear metric, something you can actually tick off.
Okay.
A stands for achievable. Your goals, they should challenge you, sure, but they also need to be realistic. Given your time, your resources, the sources warn against setting yourself up to fail with something impossible.
Makes sense.
Eras is for relevant. This one's crucial, I think. Make sure your goals really align with your bigger life plans, your values. Does losing that 5 kilogram actually fit your overall health philosophy? If it doesn't, it probably won't stick. And finally, T is time-bound. This adds urgency, gives you a deadline, like save $2,000 by April, creates a target date, a sense of momentum.
That breakdown makes SMART so much more useful than just, remembering the acronym. So, okay, setting a SMART goal is step one. But the sources seem to really stress that the real work, maybe the real breakthroughs, happen when you plan the actions. What's the key there? Making that phase work.
Exactly right. The action plan takes that clear, time-bound goal and it breaks it down into manageable, almost bite-sized pieces. Let's use that saving money example from the source again. Goal: save $2,000 in 3 months. Okay, bring it down. That's about $667 a month. Or even smaller, maybe $167 a week.
Ah, okay.
And suddenly, that big number feels much less intimidating, more doable on a daily or weekly basis. It turns that mountain into a series of small, climbable hills.
Yeah, that breakdown really makes it feel tangible. So once we have that kind of granular plan, what other habits or mindsets do the sources highlight to make sure we actually stick to it day after day?
Well, the sources offer some really excellent tips for the action planning part. First, you need to prioritize. Focus on the steps that'll give you the biggest bang for your buck first. They also really emphasize the power of consistency, highlighting that, small actions daily are way more effective than trying to do one big burst of effort now and then.
Steady progress. Exactly. And it's also vital to celebrate milestones. Acknowledge those small wins, like finishing the first chapter of that book you're writing. Celebrate it. It fuels the journey.
Definitely. Keeps morale up.
And finally, stay flexible. Because, let's face it, life happens. Things change. You need to be able to adjust your approach without just giving up on the goal entirely. It's not about perfection. It's about making progress.
Okay, so we've got SMART goals, we've got an action plan. But what about the practical stuff? The tools, the resources that genuinely help people stay grounded, stay on track day to day. What do these sources say really makes a difference?
What's interesting here is that the sources definitely highlight different strokes for different folks. They acknowledge that what works for one person might totally not work for another.
Yeah.
It's kind of like finding the right tool for a job, isn't it? You wouldn't use a hammer to saw wood. So some people, for instance, they love physical planners or maybe digital ones. Just the act of writing tasks down helps them feel grounded.
Yeah, I get that. Others might prefer digital tools like Trello or Asana, something for organizing, visualizing tasks maybe. Beyond that, the sources detail a whole range of helpful resources. Things like habit trackers, apps like Habitica or Streaks, they can be great for building routines, making progress visible. The Pomodoro timer gets a mention for focused work sessions. Breaking time into intense sprints, then short breaks.
Oh yeah, those are useful.
Journaling, too, a powerful tool for reflection, tracking not just physical progress, but emotional, mental progress as well. And, of course, there's so much knowledge out there in books and podcasts, specific mentions like Atomic Habits by James Clear for habit stuff, or maybe The Tim Ferriss Show for exploring high-performance strategies.
Wow, lots of good stuff there.
And finally, they really highlight mentorship and accountability groups.
Wow.
Having that external support, it can be crucial for keeping you going when, your own motivation dips.
That's a really practical, diverse set of options. The advice seems clear then. Find what clicks for you, and then we'll commit to using it. But what happens when that initial spark, that motivation, what happens when it inevitably fades? Because it does, right? It will fade sometimes. What do we do then, according to these sources?
Yeah, that's such a critical question because those motivational dips, they're completely normal, expected even. Progress is hardly ever a straight line. And the sources offer some really important wisdom for navigating those moments. First, always remember your why. Reconnect with that original reason you started. If you lose sight of the core purpose, the whole thing can feel a bit pointless.
That foundational reason.
Exactly. Then break it down even further. When the big goal feels overwhelming, focus on the next tiny step. Smaller wins help keep momentum going. Positive self-talk is also mentioned as critical. Replacing thoughts like, I can't do this, with something like, okay, I'll figure this out. The sources emphasize how just reframing that internal chat can be incredibly powerful.
Yeah, changing the narrative in your head.
And it's also vital to expect setbacks. Understand that bumps in the road are just part of the journey. It helps you not get totally derailed by them. Don't be afraid to lean on support either. Talk to friends, mentors, a goal buddy. Getting that external perspective, that encouragement, it can make a huge difference.
Definitely.
And even if the final goal isn't quite there yet, celebrate the progress you have made. Acknowledge the journey itself. And maybe, most fundamentally, practice self-care. Your mental and physical health, they're crucial assets in all this. You really can't pour from an empty cup.
Okay, so here's your direct challenge, listening in from this deep dive.
Yeah.
Think of just one goal, one thing you want to achieve in 2025.
Yeah.
Write it down. Make it SMART. Break it into those manageable, maybe even daily steps. And then, well, just start without delay. Even if it's the absolute smallest first action you can think of, just begin.
And please remember, you absolutely don't have to do this all on your own. The sources strongly suggest sharing your goal. Tell a trusted person, find a mentor, maybe join an accountability group. That external support, that shared journey, it can honestly make all the difference between something staying a dream and becoming a reality.
Let's really try and make 2025 the year you turn those aspirations into tangible achievements. It's about continuously growing, continuously striving, not just for 1 year, but maybe as an ongoing way of living. So here's something to think about. If making 2025 your best year yet starts with just one step, a clear plan, what does it mean to truly embrace this whole philosophy, this idea of continual growth, adaptation, beyond just a single calendar year? How do we make every year a journey of ongoing transformation?